It took me a while to get to this point, but finally I'm here with the brand new 2025 Versys 1100 SE. I just hope that the weather will cooperate with me. So, welcome to my channel and welcome to the review and a test ride of brand new Versys 1100. So what you see here is Kawasaki Versys 1100 from 2025. This one have 5,700 kilometers on the clock. So brand new bike. What you see here is my top case from my Versys 1000. I did get bike with a top box, but of course I need to make a review for you. So I need all the video gear and other stuff. So I took my top case. This bike has different plate, but fortunately the top case fits perfectly. If you watch my channel, then you know that I'm riding Kawasaki Versys for the last 8 years, so I know this bike very well. And today I will try to describe you how this brand new / old Versys perform. I won't be talking about the looks of this bike in this review because there is not so much changed in here. It looks like many other Versyses. Another thing I won't talk about in this review is the handling of this bike, because it's a Versys and it handles itself almost perfectly. This is SE model, so it has of course a Showa skyhook suspension, which is very good, very smooth and very pleasurable to ride. And of course in this particular Versys everything goes about new engine, new 1100cc engine. So that's the thing that I will focus in this video. I will try to tell you if this bike is better than the old Versys, is there any improvements, and I will give you my own personal opinion about it, of course. About 10 months ago I did a review of my Versys 1000 SE after 3 years of use, and I mentioned there that the engine of the Versys is very good, very smooth, but I would gladly see there a little bit more power. Well, in new Versys we have of course a little bit bigger engine, 1100cc, to be exact 1099cc. And on the paper it says that it has 15 horsepower more, some more torque, has different gearbox, and what is most important for me, improved quick shifter. I hope it have. Because the engine is a bit different, there must be some changes as well in the gearbox. So the gearbox has a bit different gear ratios, and of course it has different tuning in ECU. The old Versys had some major issues with the vibrations, which are around 4 to 4,500 RPMs. So I will test if this one has as well vibrations. What the Kawasaki says, it shouldn't, because it has extra flywheel or something like that, if I remember correctly, so there should be no more vibrations. Of course I will test it and I will see if that's true. So without further ado, let me show you what is changed in this bike, and let's go on the road, let's do some proper testing. So of course the biggest change is the engine. It's a different engine, a different capacity, different gearbox, and a few other changes in it. And as you can see visually, it is black. The old engine was silver or gray silver, and I must say I'm not really a big fan of this black engine. It doesn't look good here, it's not visible. And in my opinion the engine should be visible. So I would definitely prefer a silver engine here. Another difference that comes with the engine is here. This engine has extra oil cooler. That's this round box. The old Versys doesn't have that. So I'm not 100% sure about it, but I think the exhaust pipes have a little bit different shape. I don't know, they look kind of different. Of course, on this side the engine is black as well. Except for that, everything looks more or less the same. These covers have a bit different shape, so that's more aesthetics. And there is a new front sprocket cover. It's now, I believe, one piece. In the old Versys there is an aluminium case with the plastic cover outside. This is all, I think, plastic, I'm not sure, but it looks like. Another new thing is the rear sprocket. So now it's black from DID. Is it look better? Well, I wouldn't say so. I think the silver one looks better here. And of course, one of the more important changes are the brakes. The rear one is a little bit bigger. And of course the front ones, before they were pedal wave discs, so with this rear shape. Now they are round flat disc, which offers maximum path contact. So shortly speaking, the brakes should be better. Why is it raining now? So another small change that comes with Versys 1100 is the key itself. This is the key from the Versys 1000, and this is the key from new Versys 1100. And of course, one of the other changes, new things on the bike, I wouldn't call it improvement, is this terrible and cheap looking USB-C port, which is, yeah, it's just, it looks like something made in the 70s or 80s. Very wobbly, terribly looking, very terrible made, and terrible placed thing. It's just really nasty thing, and I know everybody's throwing away this, and if I would buy Versys 1100, that probably would be the first thing I will throw away. I will definitely change it for something else. It's just terrible. So the engine itself, it sounds very similar to the Versys. It sounds like a Versys. It's still the same exhaust, and it still sounds here the same. There is more growl in it, and that's because the airbox and intakes for the airbox are a bit different. So there is this much deeper growly sound in it, which in my opinion is a big improvement in the sound quality. But for the rest, yeah, it sounds like a Versys. So let's see what this new engine can do. Wow, that's a big improvement in power. It goes like crazy. and it sounds better. What I'm not gonna talk about is how the Versys perform on the road, because it's the same bike. There is nothing changed in the suspension or anything else, so the bike is gonna behave exactly the same. A small correction to what I just said in this video about suspension. Some modifications have been made to the electronic suspension and driving mode for better comfort and performance. Except for much more power. Well, 15 horsepower maybe doesn't sound very exciting on the paper, but in reality it makes very big difference. Well, my Versys 1000 is not bad. You can still have fun time on it, on a twisties, but this is next level, guys. So my first impressions about this engine, this 15 horsepower is exactly what this bike was needed. It's exactly what's missing in Versys 1000s. Yeah! So that was on sport, and on sport bike goes absolutely bananas. Let's try a road. Of course, nothing has changed in electronics of the bikes, so everything what was in old Versys in the new Versys, so switching things, so everything works exactly the same. So let's try on a road mode. Unfortunately it is raining, so I cannot do the full bins because it can be slippery. But anyways, this is road ride mode. So it is less powerful than on a sport, which is logic, but it still have quite a lot of power. Definitely more than my old Versys. Okay, let's try now the rain modes. Here we go, that's the rain. So this one is the less powerful. But I can tell you already, it is more powerful than in my old Versys. This is a lot of power for the rain. I would say too much. Still goes like crazy. According to the onboard computer, average fuel consumption is 6 liters for 100 kilometers, and that's about half a liter more than my Versys 1000. But to be honest, I am not riding peacefully. I'm giving the bins to this bike, so it is using quite a lot. So to tell you properly how much how big is the fuel consumption, I would have to ride this bike for a few days and try different modes, different roads, but I think it's gonna use more or less the same as my Versys, so it's gonna be around 5.5 liter. What I really like about this new quick shifter, it works at very low RPM. You can switch gears without any problems at 2000 RPM. Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, and sixth gear, and all of that below 2000 RPM. And now switching back, 3, 2, and even on 1, no problem at all. That's not possible on my Versys. It's just not doable. So the quick shifter definitely much better, definitely improved. If it goes about vibration, guys, so far so good. I have 4000 and I don't have any vibrations. At 6000 I have a bit vibration on the seat, which isn't very pleasant. For a bit sporty riding, twisty riding, that makes no difference. It will keeps you awake, but for the traveling I barely get 5000 RPMs when I travel, when I'm touring. So on my Versys 1000 I have mostly between 3.5 and 4.500 RPMs when I'm traveling, and that's exactly where the vibrations are, and that's pretty tiring. So this problem do not exist here. There is no vibrations at all at 4000 RPM. At least I don't feel it. So I would say that is an improvement as well. Versys 1100 has new brakes, new brake discs. So let's see if they are improved, or if the braking is better. So I'm gonna do it first from the low speed. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, it's stopping a bit better than my Versys, but is it very big difference? I don't know. Let's try some bit higher speeds. Oh, they definitely much better. Wow. I need to grab the handlebars very hard, otherwise I would flown over the front screen. They're really good. The braking power is massively increased. Oh God. Let's try the rear brake. Well, rear brake is not for braking, it's more for assistance. But it is working pretty good. So very quick conclusion, guys. This very tiny looking on the paper 53 more cc's in this engine, and this tiny looking 15 horsepower improved this engine completely. Versys has become a different animal, more fun, and let's hope more reliable. So it is time for some conclusions. So what can I say about Kawasaki Versys 1100 SE? I definitely like the new engine. It's very fun to ride, it feels much sporty, it has more power, it has this beautiful sporty growl. It just sounds and feels very good. Unfortunately, what I don't like about it is the color. Why did they make it black? I think the idea was that we're gonna make, like BMW, a triple black. Why is this not black? Why is this not black? Why is this not black? If you wanna do it triple black, do it properly. I am definitely in love with this quick shifter. This thing is working flawlessly. This is the best quick shifter I have ever ridden. And why Kawasaki didn't do this one in a Versys 1000? It would be perfect. Unfortunately, in Kawasaki Versys 1000, the quick shifter is one big disaster. This one, much better, much improved. Love it. Of course, I hate this bloody USB-C port. That's just a big mistake. Why did you do that? The brakes, well, better, improved, but it's still not a Brembo. It's still missing something. So if I ever decide to buy Versys 1100, I would probably change the brake lines for something better, like a Hell or something else, because I think that's the biggest issue of the brakes in the Versys. The rubber hose, they just expand and there's not enough pressure to push the pistons. Of course, I always liked how the Versys looks, and of course nothing's changed here except for a few small things, different colors, a bit different shape covers, things like this. It's not a major thing. The shape of the bike, it's still the same. I still like it. What I don't like it is the colors for this year. This was the gray-black color, and you can buy as well a white with black, I believe. Both are hideous. So if I decide to buy Versys 1100, I would definitely want it to have a different color, and if that won't be possible, I would probably do some painting, because I really like my green. So the question is it worth to change your Versys 1000, if you have one of course, for this Versys 1100? Well, it cost almost the same money as 1000. There is a small difference because of the inflation, but a different engine, different gearbox, improved quick shifter, few new things, and with the same price, well, I think that's pretty good. That's worth it. The engine itself is better. I like this one much better than the engine in my Versys 1000. This sounds better. It has this growly sound. It sounds very sexy. It has more power, which I always wanted in the Versys, because the 120 horsepower in a Versys 1000, that's just not enough. I always miss this a little bit punch, and this one have this punch, and that makes this bike perfect for the twisties. And the twisties is what MotoAndy loves the most. Of course, improved power is as well very important for traveling, especially when you're traveling with a lot of luggage, with very heavy bike. So if you need to react in a traffic very quickly, make quick decision and run away from a dangerous situation, this extra 15 horsepower make really big difference. But don't forget, there is as well a bit more torque, and torque is always welcome in a bike. So my final conclusion, guys, I definitely like the new Versys 1100. It's the bike that I know. It's reliable, it's flexible, and now improved, which was needed actually. So Kawasaki is doing pretty good job with the bike, except for this bloody USB-C port. Final conclusion, guys. Well, I like it. I like the Versys. I always did, and this one is improved. It's even better. Would I buy one? Well, probably. It's on the top of my list, but I want to test a few more bikes before I make a decision. And I still have a few months left to spare for the bike, because at the moment I cannot afford Versys or any other bike. So for the next few months I will test some more bikes, and in the beginning of the next year I will decide which bike will be welcomed in my garage. For those who never had or who never ridden Versys 1000 or 1100, you should definitely go for the test rides. If you're wondering, is it a good bike? I think so. I like it. I'm riding this bike for 8 years, and I like what the Kawasaki did with this one. It's improved, it is better. Just go and test ride. Every bike has its own rider, so only you will know if you like it, if this is the bike for you. For the owners of the Versys 1000, 1000S or SE, if you ask me if it is worth it to switch for the new 1100, well, I think so. I think it is worth it. I think this one is a bit better. It's improved, and that's quite important, because it's not a big deal to build each year a new bike without making any improvements. The real big deal is to make a bike and keep it for a long time with high quality and a lot of improvements. But if you still have doubts, I have for you exactly the same advice. Just go a test ride. I think you will like it. Well, I don't think there is much more to say about that. There is one big major change in the bike, the rest is the same. So I think I did cover everything what is most important. The rest is up to you. And me, well, the weather has improved, stopped dropping, and I still have a few hours with the bike, so I'm just gonna go on the road and enjoy. So, as usual, I say thanks for watching. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. If you like my channel, you can support me by clicking super thanks button underneath the screen, or buy me a coffee. All the information about that are in the description of this video. So, goodbye and see you in the next one.